I had posted this tweet the other day when ICE confirmed it arrested the employers of 48 illegal immigrants in South Carolina. We already covered this on stream. They arrested the plant manager and the HR lady, both of which are white people. And there's this retard that's like a reply guy to a bunch of us. Like, he just constantly lies about shit and makes shit up and has hallucinations. And he says, you're really not doing your best to debunk the white supremacist allegations.
That doesn't make sense.
And it confuses me because I'm celebrating the employers finally getting comeuppance. Because every time we talk about illegal immigrants and how they're like taking jobs and how ICE is arresting them at job sites, every time I scream about, what about the fucking employers? They're creating the incentives. They also need repercussions. They need jail time. They need massive fucking fines. Anyone who has watched any segment of mine on immigration knows I rant about that. And this guy's like, oh my God, look at this white supremacist. She's mad that slave drivers are getting arrested. Or rather, she's happy that slave drivers are getting arrested. And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? If I was a white supremacist, I'd be like, yeah, continue to enslave those browns, brother. What the fuck are we doing? What are we fucking doing here? Wait, oh my God. And it's just like, white supremacist is when you're happy white people get arrested for breaking the law. Further illustrating, they don't call you this because they think you are one, but because it's effective as marking you as a target. And once again, I had to deal with these lunatics lying about me for ages. Anyone who takes these people seriously, you are not a serious individual. Any company that takes these people seriously deserves to be brigaded into the ground. They do not deserve money for their products because they are retarded. You see the thought process they use? A supremacist is happy that opportunities are being taken away from criminals to make money. White supremacy is when you want criminals to have repercussions for their actions. And we obviously had some other reply guys come out of the woodwork with ridiculous shit. Correction, they mean fascist, racist piece of shit. You only cheer when white people you consider enemies or political opposition get arrested. When it isn't cheering for that, it's complaining about minorities, DEI, and people of color. Just a fucking loser. Nice bots, by the way. I got like 100,000 followers. If anything, this is like low likes. What are you talking about? What are you fucking talking about? Also, didn't I just say hang that fucking white guy who's a murderer? I cover criminals regardless of race. If it comes across my timeline or in my newsfeed on my phone, I put it up in a tab. I'm not like getting on my PC and going all like hacker mode like, ooh, I gotta find all of the criminal minorities today.
Tell them about per capita. I'm getting to it.
I can only cover black criminals. That's not what I'm doing! I just got shit in my feed, bro! I follow current events! Oh yeah, but they have selective hearing. It's also fucking tiresome. And I am so fucking sick of these little gnats just lying about everything. And then the guy continues. He says, hey, and he tags me. A few things. One, I damn well know that the reason you're cheering isn't because of the employers getting arrested. This is what I voted for. Yeah, I know that dog whistle when I see it. Well, maybe you're the fucking dog, Mr. 47 IQ! Anyone who has watched any segment knows I want the employers to have repercussions. I've been saying that for years. But you wouldn't know that because you just make shit up, you retard! And he continues, this is a comment from one of your own followers, yet your side, the far right, is supposedly peaceful. When have I ever claimed that? First of all, I'm not far right. I'm like barely right of center. Like, barely right of center. I have things I disagree with in my chat all the fucking time. And also, no, there are people who are not peaceful on the far right. And you know what's preventing those not peaceful people from doing not peaceful things? The peaceful people, like myself, who want peaceful measures to fix this shit. We don't want the violent measures, you psychopathic freak! Kirsche, that is the far right these days to lefties. A single person made a questionable comment. You have to delete your account here. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't control all of my followers. They're individuals. No, it doesn't matter if I want something peaceful. They're their own human being. They can say whatever the fuck they want. They're not avatars representing me unless they're a fucking moderator. So if you can show me a moderator of mine trying to advocate for violence, sure, I'd get rid of the mod. But if it's not a moderator, shut the fuck up and sit down. That's crazy, man. The leftists have more violent people with tunnel vision than peaceful people. The comment says, yeah, exactly. Exactly. The left is overtly the more violent side, brother. He continues with his retardation. And 3, since I know you've considered this, the people who are working there, regardless of legal status, were simply trying to make a living to help their families. I don't fucking care! You unsauced ravioli! I am an American, and I am trying to make a living. This is my country. This is my birthright. They have no right to come here illegally, break the law, and take advantage of the American taxpayers. I don't give a shit why they're here. Come here legally. And before you make the argument of then they should have come in the legal way, if you want them to do so, then you have to streamline the immigration process. Yeah, I remember when I thought that 15 fucking years ago too, buddy. I don't think that anymore. It doesn't need to be streamlined. It needs to be changed. If you streamline it and make it easier, that's going to make more low quality people come in to fuck shit up. It doesn't need to be easier. Look at all the fucking fraud we have. Look at all the H-1B visa scams. Look at all the daycare centers and the autism centers. People with autism aren't getting money that they need because of Somalians scamming them. The healthcare systems in so many states being taken advantage of. But you don't give a single fucking shit about the actual Americans who are victims to all of this fucking nonsense. You just don't care. What you care about is trying to call people racist, which I don't give a fuck what the color of some illegal immigrant's skin is. If you're here illegally, get the fuck out. I don't care about your race. Access to white people is not a human right. And in the case of America, it's not even just white people. Access to American capital is not a human right. We are a country, not a fucking economic zone. Some people have crash outs. Kier crashes in. Fuck smaxing. Fucking retard still insists that foreigners have a right to our country, but we don't. It's also fucking tiresome, dude. And so I replied to him. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, it's all so tiresome. When someone makes an allegation against you, a person who has been making shit up about me in my replies for months, I ask them for proof. Someone said like, oh, this Zingo guy, he's a pedophile. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna believe that without some proof. I'm gonna need some proof before I just start calling someone a pedophile. I don't know. I don't know where somewhere along the way it might have changed, but I really liked when Josh said that if he's going to call someone a pedophile, he needs to basically be ready to like pull a trigger on that person because it is a very heinous accusation. And I was like, when someone makes an accusation against you, instead of just wholesale believing it because you're a fucking retard and I'm tired of your existence, I'm tired of you replying to everything with lies, it's obnoxious. I don't just believe it and start spreading it. I ask them for proof. Whereas you just hallucinate, assert it as fact, and repeat your lies everywhere. You have no principles or standards. And even this guy came in and said Kirsche has said on many occasions that the employers need to be arrested and the book thrown at them because otherwise it will never stop. Don't put words in someone else's mouth, especially when you clearly do not watch any of their content on the subject. And this fucking retard says, I've seen enough to know the kind of person Kirsche is. No, you haven't. No, you don't. You've had enough, like, meth-induced hallucinations and believing retards lying about me on Twitter that you've built some amalgamation of me in your head and you think that's real. And it's not. You're just a fucking retard. Not to mention her idiotic, disingenuous posts speak for themselves. How many times I've been community noted, you fuckwit? How many fucking times? Get out of here. He said, okay, bet. Let's do this song and dance again. Yeah. Let's go, buddy. Let's have this fucking dance, you absolute retard. Remember back to when Keir Starmer talked about the supposed great replacement happening in the UK? The same theory made up by a white supremacist? Yeah, you agreed with that. Or more specifically, you agreed, how the fuck can you look at the statistics, look at the people celebrating the demographic replacement in the UK and in the US? I played a compilation of all of the headline titles the other fucking day. What are we doing?
It isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident.
This happened by design, not accident. What does that mean? That means the politicians in power did this on purpose. And what is this, you ask?
Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders.
A one-nation experiment in open borders. He is literally addressing immigration and the negative effects it has had on Britain.
Global Britain. Remember that slogan? That is what they meant. A policy with no support, of which they then pretended wasn't happening.
They pretended it wasn't happening, much like, dear Zingo retard, you are pretending it is not happening right now. What more do you want me to bring up? Do you want me to bring up the demographic article from the other day? Non-whites set to become majority in the US for the first time by 2050, with New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut reflecting the same change. And whenever you bring this up, the two options of the retard fighting you are, they're going to ask, oh, what's wrong with becoming a minority? Are they treated poorly? Why would you not want to become one? That's usually part one. That's a path they can take. Or they're just like, oh, well, yeah, that's just a good thing. It's like, what are you supposed to do with that? The great replacement theory that they keep trying to peg me with in order to get me financially ruined is when you blame the Jews for all of this happening. That's not the case, man. Keir Starmer said, literally in that clip, it is your politicians who have done this to you.
To turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders.
So no, it's not a theory made up by a white supremacist. And no, I don't believe in the white supremacist fucking great replacement theory bullshit. What I do believe in are the facts I can read with my eyes showing the replacement of native populations in countries. It's documented. It's statistics. I know you guys are allergic to those. But it's like, that's not a theory. You can see it with your own eyes, and it's documented, and it's celebrated by people on the left. And it's not, again, when it comes to America, it's not even the replacement of specifically white people. Do you forget that we have heritage Americans who are black and Hispanic? What are we fucking doing here? Like, again, you are using words and terminology that you have no idea what they fucking mean because you wish to cause me harm. Because you're fucking psychotic. Or more specifically, you agreed with Keir. I did agree with Keir. He is the leader of the country telling you what the people of that country have done to the people who live there. What do you mean? Am I supposed to be like, oh no, he's lying, guys. He's lying. What? Number 2, the fan pic of your plushie in front of a book that had a swastika and an iron cross on it. You know, 2 Nazi symbols. The same pic you liked and reposted, the one you turned around and said you had no idea the symbols were there on. Yeah, I didn't! I told people who bought my plush since it was getting shipped out to post pictures of it. I was retweeting all of the pictures of my plush because, surprise, I know this is crazy as a content creator, I actually like my fucking audience. I like my audience and I appreciate when they spend fucking money on me. Wow, crazy fucking concept. I'd want to retweet plushie pictures. And I didn't see a swastika on a book the size of a redhead ginger's fucking dick hair. Are you kidding me? And also, the Iron Cross isn't a Nazi symbol. That existed before the Nazis. So shut the fuck up, you absolute moron. I am sick of people using that. Like, this is what I said, too. I was like, it doesn't matter if I fucking delete it, because people are going to claim, oh, well, she retweeted it and she only deleted it because she caught backlash. I didn't fucking notice. I was like, oh, look, it's a femboy with a cute dress that bought my plush. Maybe I should have known that all femboys are Nazis. What the fuck do you want from me? You insane psychopath. 3, you mocking the death of George Floyd by making up a hymn about, and quote, fentanyl Floyd, the very same black man that had a white cop with his knee on Floyd's neck. That enough proof for you? No, that's not proof of anything! And I wasn't mocking the death of George Floyd. I've even said publicly that it sucks that he fucking died. When I sing the, Saint Floyd of the fentanyl, in his name we pray, amen. I'm not making fun of his death. I'm making fun of the psychotic sycophants on the left that wanted to canonize him as a fucking saint. You had politicians crying at a golden sarcophagus for a man who had a lethal dose of fent. What are we doing? If you were honest for once in your fucking life, I bet you would spontaneously combust. Holy shit. You may not be making fun of him, but you sure. Yeah, there's people that do. I haven't made fun of his death. But these people need to twist things in order to make me look worse than I actually am. And I'm fucking tired of it. I am fucking sick of these lying cretins. It's nothing they say can be taken on good faith. Everything they say is said with the intent of game ending you at some point. That's their goal, pretty much. And even if this Zingo fuck doesn't specifically want to kill me himself, he would absolutely cheer if somebody else did. Because that's just what these people kind of fucking do. Actually insane. And Foxy was going Super Saiyan. You clobber them for as long as they keep spawning. You are the goon of Korshovo. Yeah, it's just like you correct the lies, not because they're ever gonna stop lying, they fucking won't, but because you want other people to see what the truth is so that their lies cannot permeate other people. By the way, this guy doesn't believe in racism against white people being a thing. Oh my god, he's one of the self-hating white people? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, dude? Every accusation is a confession from this freak. Zingo saying racism against white people doesn't exist when over 50% of the world's population is majority white, Caucasian, European.
Are you sure about that?
Roughly 16% of the global population is considered white, with the majority of this demographic primarily residing in Europe, North America, and other westernized nations. However, whiteness is a sociological classification rather than a strictly signed... Okay, alright, okay. We're gonna take the 16%, but what do you mean? Roughly 16% of the global population is white, however, white isn't even real. Holy shit, I hate... Kirsche saying, pipe down racist, and he says, how the fuck is that racist? I am white. Yeah, you're a self-hating white racist. Yes, you can be racist to white people. We see racism against white people every day. We saw a white man in Britain lose his fucking life because the cops believed a brown person claiming the white kid was racist after he had stabbed him fatally. What are we doing? Kirsche saying, the only racist one is you, as we know already. Just stop playing demonic subversion games. It's getting tiresome. He says, I stand by the point that white racism isn't a thing. That doesn't make you a racist. It does. It explicitly does. Saying that a person of a specific race is excluded from experiencing racism is in fact racism, little buddy. That's exactly what it fucking is. You are discriminating against them. And then, to cap off the extra retardation, there was a fucking post on Reddit that I got linked. It says, must be a shred of truth in this. Wouldn't be surprised if conservatives are trying to get VTubers, streamers, influencers to spread a message via under-the-table contracts and whatnot. Probably will get called out as a schizo for this, but I had worse. And I think this is really funny because this is actually what the left does, and this is also what Bridge said needs to happen with streamers and influencers. Because streamers and influencers have a level of trust with their audiences that can be tapped into, unlike traditional celebrities. So they're a very good vessel for the message. And this isn't even schizo. This is from me reading things from Bridge directly. Insane. And this other person said, that's not a schizo take at all. That's just pretty obvious. How are these people real? Like, are these just bots? Are these like AI having conversations? The right-wing media apparatus is gigantic, and the funds and finances are traceable all the way back to industry giants like the Koch brothers. There are huge industry and capital sectors whose biggest interest is for society to never progress.
Ironic.
And it's at this point, the irony could have caused me to have an asthma attack with how suffocating it is. Think of where we could be if progressives and communists weren't fucking our shit up. They need the population to be misinformed, that's you guys, or even better, completely uneducated and scared. That's also you guys. Let's take a look at the education system that's been co-opted by the commies. Religious, your religion is whatever the fuck commie nonsense you've decided is the gay race communism. Traditional and servile. What the fuck does that even mean? Look at who funds Fox, who funds the Daily Wire, and then look at who Kirsche calls her idols. You got me. I'm actually an elite English operative because my idol is Sakura Miko. What the fuck? And pay attention to the language and the narratives that Kirsche uses. You mean reading articles and showing, like, the stuff that I'm looking at instead of just telling people things? Like, what are we doing? What does this mean? What is with these people? Oh no, she speaks facts. The horror! I get shit wrong sometimes, and I appreciate when chat corrects me, or I find evidence later on, and I'm like, hold up, I thought it was this way before, but it's actually this way now. Wow, who would have thunked it? I see you looking at my post. Seems I pissed you off so bad that you have to scream on live. Always monetize your haters, buddy. Thank you for the extra income. I'll be sure to use it for my air conditioner here. And you're spreading misinformation. No, I'm actually not, which is why I brought up sources for the things that I was saying. This misinformation agent trying to be like, no, you. Watching as you're literally crashing the fuck out, willing to go toe-to-toe with you in a debate. Why the fuck would I give your disingenuous lying ass a platform? You are actually scum, and no one should ever listen to you. Good fucking luck. Maybe you can convince another dumb VTuber to host you or some shit, but it ain't gonna be me, buddy. Ain't gonna be me. You are for laughing at and making money off of. Congratulations. That's your life. You're like that butter dispenser in Rick and Morty.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Trump administration launches largest ever effort to denaturalize U.S. citizens accused of fraud or other crimes. Trump administration on Monday announced it is seeking to revoke the citizenship of 17 U.S. citizens accused of immigration fraud, expanding its unprecedented denaturalization campaign. CBS News exclusively reported about the plans before they were unveiled by the Justice Department. I fucking hate journalists so much. They literally tell you it's trying to revoke the citizenship of citizens accused of immigration fraud. And then they're just like, unprecedented denaturalization campaign. It's a good thing! This is a good thing! Fuck yeah, this is what I voted for. Yeah, we need to make that 17 million, buddy. Officials said the move represents the largest ever effort by the U.S. government to use its denaturalization powers, which were rarely invoked before President Trump returned to the White House last year with promises to launch a historic deportation blitz. That is what we voted for. That is what we want. Get them out if they are criminals and defrauding us. Between 1990 and 2017, the Justice Department filed an average of just 11 legal complaints per year seeking to denaturalize American citizens, historical figures indicate. Just because we didn't convict enough people of fraud previously doesn't mean it was a good thing. What are we doing? Federal law has long allowed the government to try and denaturalize foreign-born U.S. citizens who officials believe committed fraud to obtain their citizenship, such as by concealing information like criminal conduct on their immigration applications. But the process has been historically lengthy, complex, and seldom exercised, requiring officials to persuade judges to strip naturalized citizens of their citizenship in civil or criminal proceedings in federal court. The Trump administration has sought to vastly escalate denaturalization efforts as part of its larger crackdown on illegal and legal immigration. In 2025, the Justice Department broadened the categories of naturalized citizens who should be prioritized for denaturalization. Last month, officials announced a dozen denaturalization cases, at the time the largest such effort in years. Some of the 17 citizens targeted in the latest denaturalization campaign were convicted of violent or serious crimes, including sex offenses against children. Others were convicted of fraud crimes or accused of committing immigration fraud. In federal court complaints filed across the country in recent days, Justice Department officials argued that the individuals concealed their criminal activity when they applied for U.S. citizenship, or were otherwise ineligible to be naturalized, including because they lacked a quote-unquote good moral character, one of the requirements in the naturalization process. Those targeted in the latest round of denaturalization cases include a Haitian immigrant who allegedly sexually abused his daughter, a man from former Yugoslavia convicted of sexually abusing a child under the age of 15, an immigrant from Mexico convicted of receiving sexually explicit images of minors, a former Catholic priest born in Colombia accused of child sex abuse, and a Filipino-born man who pleaded guilty to a child sex crime. Every time one of these retards on Twitter tries to call you a racist because you want deportations to happen, these are the people they are defending. These are the people that they humanize more than they think of you as a human. They do not care about the victims of these people. They do not care about child sex crimes like they might claim to. They just use Epstein shit in order to try and browbeat you. These people do not actually care. The group also includes an Indian immigrant accused of filing fraudulent H-1B visa petitions, the daughter of a Colombian drug trafficker accused of money laundering, a man born in Jamaica convicted of wire fraud, and a Cuban-born woman accused of defrauding a tribal casino. What the fuck? Other naturalized citizens were accused of using false identities. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said the Justice Department would have zero tolerance for abuse of the naturalization process. Criminal aliens are lying about their past crimes, including drug dealers, sexual predators, and fraudsters. Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin said the Trump administration would continue to use every lawful avenue to denaturalize and remove aliens. American citizenship is a privilege and it must be earned honestly. If you come here, break our laws, and lie in your immigration proceedings, you forfeit that privilege. The denaturalization process allows the targeted citizens to challenge the government's filings to try and retain their citizenship if U.S. citizens are denaturalized. They return to their prior immigration status, typically as a permanent U.S. resident, and lose all the legal benefits of American citizenship, including protection from deportation. Denaturalize! Detain! Deport! Get them out! That fucking Indian who's claiming a white woman sexually harassed him at JP Morgan is continuing to double down. Chirayu Rana makes dramatic Gambit to drop JP Morgan sex slave lawsuit in search of friendlier territory. Former JP Morgan big shot Chirayu Rana, who accused his female boss of forcing him into humiliating sex acts, is pulling the plug on his salacious New York State court case to make way for a comprehensive federal lawsuit. Rana's new legal team, a total of 5 lawyers, Tectone loaned his team of 5 lawyers to this guy, claims an explosive new filings that the original suit against Lorna Hajdini left out crucial federal violations, including race discrimination, retaliation, and interference with family and medical leave. The full airing of grievances should now take place in federal rather than state court, according to the court documents filed Monday in Manhattan Supreme Court. This guy just cannot leave this woman a fucking alone. Holy shit. His major evidence is going to be AI-made video. Oh, I can't wait to see it. I can't fucking wait, dude. How big have his eyes gotten this time? Shut up, don't do that. The public has been fed a wildly distorted version of this case, manufactured from sensational headlines that bear no resemblance to what actually happened to Mr. Rana, said Rana's new attorney, John L. Norensberg. Bro, we literally read the fucking things that he submitted. What do you mean? What do you fucking mean? I don't understand. His new lawyers, according to filings and statements made Monday, claim there is substantial new evidence we have uncovered, but failed to cite any specifics. I can't wait to see the fucking AI video. I can't wait to see the fucking AI video, and I hope Skybrows makes a parody of it with better AI, because you know it's gonna look like shit. You know this Indian guy is gonna be running like Will Smith eating pasta from 4 years ago. Rana's new fleet of attorneys, including 2 named partners and the head of litigation from employee powerhouse firm Joseph and Norensberg, also cited First Amendment defenses in response to Hajdini's counterclaim of defamation. I hate these fucking people. I hate these It's my First Amendment right to libel someone and ruin their reputation. No, it's not! At least some of his statements are matters of opinion. They're not capable of being proven true or false. Then what the fuck are you going to court for? Your Honor, it's a matter of opinion that my client was sexually berated by this white woman. That's why we're filing in federal court. You'll never be able to RP with a female boss that she's exploiting power over you after this. We used to be a society. Get my fish head wife's name out of your mouth. Some or all of the statements at issue are not actionable under the First Amendment and New York law, according to the court papers, because they constitute statements of opinion or rhetorical hyperbole. This countersuit is a transparent act of retaliation, a desperate effort to punish Mr. Rana for having the courage to report the racism and abuse he suffered, said Benita L. Joseph, another one of Rana's new lawyers. Hajdini's counterclaims in state court would be unaffected by his move to discontinue his own claims. The court docs also claim that some or all of the statements at issue are true or substantially true, but did not specify which or the distinction between the legalese. At all times, plaintiff acted in good faith and with no improper motive, the filing states. I genuinely hate how people are, like, capable of lying about, like, anything like this, you know? Like, I just implant something in everyone's head that will immediately explode them if they lie. I feel like society would be so much better. And no, I didn't think about it further than this, so don't ask about caveats, about, like, white lies. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just angry, and I hate liars. JP Morgan has also strongly denied Rana's claims. Neither the bank nor reps for Hajdini immediately responded to requests for comment. The new federal lawsuit promises to be under his real name and not an anonymous pseudonym, which a Manhattan Supreme Court judge ruled he must do in the state lawsuit next month. Resolving the matter in a single federal proceeding will avoid piecemeal or parallel litigation and conserve the resources of the parties and this court, the filing reads, adding that Rana will plan on filing the theoretical federal suit by the end of the month. Prior to shuffling through two separate law firms in this case, Rana had reportedly sought legal advice from a fee-free public legal chatbot on the web. Rana's original salacious lawsuit in Manhattan Supreme Court claimed he was subjected to a sustained campaign of sexual coercion and racial degradation, while management ignored his complaints, and that Hajdini threatened to slash his bonus unless he agreed to become her sex slave. His initial lawyer, a month after filing Rana's suit and hours before their first court appearance, sought to drop his client, citing a mutual agreement. But the court compelled him to come to the hearing, where their request to proceed as John Doe was denied in an hour-long session. That's funny. That's funny that the lawyer was like, I don't want anything to do with this. Please, dear God, cut me free. And the court was just like, nah, bro, you gotta come in for this. You took this, you're gonna see it through. The case law makes it really clear, said Manhattan Supreme Court Judge Dakota D. Ramsour, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Ramsour concluded that hearing by encouraging both sides to find out what, if anything, can make this case resolve itself. By signaling their intent to take their case to the feds, Rana and his 5 attorneys appear to be taking a different approach instead. The approach to get completely fucking grinded out on the federal level instead. Oversight Committee said, breaking, we just released a bombshell report exposing how Governor Tim Walz and AG Keith Ellison fueled Minnesota's fraud explosion. $9 billion in Medicaid lost, $300 million in federal child nutrition funds were placed at serious risk. Read the report and the key takeaways. And JD Vance said, I've referred these allegations to the DOJ's new fraud division for criminal investigation. Minnesota state officials are not above the law, and if they facilitated fraud, lied under oath about what they knew, or harassed and intimidated whistleblowers, they must face justice. And this is the Vice President, Dear Assistant Attorney General McDonald. Yesterday, you and I received a letter and report from Congressman James Comer, chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. The 205-page report contains shocking allegations about the failure of senior officials in the Minnesota government to address widespread fraud in federally funded social services programs in the state. The report notes that testimony and documents obtained by the committee establish a consistent pattern. Fraud warnings were elevated to the most senior levels of the Minnesota state government, meaningful corrective action was delayed or avoided, and payments continued long after credible signs of fraud emerged. The committee has alleged the following based on its review of testimonial and documentary evidence. Senior officials in Governor Walz's office and Attorney General Ellison's office were aware of credible systemic fraud concerns in social services programs as early as 2019, despite later public statements by Governor Walz suggesting otherwise. And this is why, like, when Nick Shirley did uncover a lot of this fraud, and people were like crediting him with it, there were other people who were like, but this was already discussed in 2019 and we already knew about it. It's true, but nothing actually got done about it until Nick Shirley came out and did his little videos, right? Like, the most that had gotten done were a couple of people were charged with fraud and then let go by that one white bitch of a judge. Like, what are, like, yes. Yeah, they knew about it for ages, man. Instead of trying to stop widespread fraud, Governor Walz's administration retaliated against employees who tried to raise concerns, going to great lengths to keep them quiet, including intimidation through regular check-ins with high-level agency officials and threats of surveillance. These and other failures by officials in the state allowed an estimated $300 million in federal child nutrition funds and potentially $9 billion in Medicaid-related funds to be lost or placed at serious risk. Fraudulently obtained funds likely ended up in the hands of international terrorist networks and certainly funded the lavish lifestyles of criminal fraudsters, while vulnerable populations were harmed. I wonder how long it's going to take for the majorities of normies to wake up and realize how many of the quote-unquote vulnerable populations are actually just used as shields to hide people who are doing, like, fraudulent and duplicitous things. They lie to you to take advantage of the fact that you want to do good things. They know you want to do good things, and so they operate in bad faith and take advantage of that. It's insane that some people, like, just don't even ask questions anymore. These allegations raise several issues that the National Fraud Enforcement Division must immediately investigate. Who within the offices of Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison was aware of the systemic fraud concerns? Did they share these concerns with Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison? Did Governor Walz lie in the public statement suggesting that his office was unaware of the massive fraud in Minnesota? Did Governor Walz's administration retaliate against and intimidate whistleblowers who tried to sound the alarm about this theft of taxpayer dollars? Were Walz administration officials aware that some of the fraudulently obtained funds may have been sent to foreign terrorist networks? And most importantly, do the actions and failures to act alleged in the committee's report constitute violations of federal criminal or civil law? Since President Trump announced the launch of the Fraud Task Force, we have uncovered billions of dollars in fraud against the taxpayers. Money that should have gone to vulnerable Americans was instead being siphoned off by fraudsters. They didn't just steal from the taxpayer, they prevented children, the elderly, and those most in need of help from receiving critical services. Thanks to the partnership between the task force and the Department of Justice, these fraudsters are now being brought to justice. But we cannot stop there. If state officials in Minnesota or anywhere else in the country facilitated fraud or looked the other way while this theft was happening, if they actively prevented state and federal officials from stopping fraud and bringing fraudsters to justice, or if they intimidated and harassed whistleblowers who courageously tried to shine a light on this problem, they must be held accountable. It is imperative that the National Fraud Enforcement Division, in partnership with appropriate investigative agencies and U.S. attorneys' offices, open investigations to uncover the truth and bring any and all wrongdoers to justice. I am confident that, under your leadership, the Justice Department will respond to this referral and to Chairman Comer's report with all appropriate urgency. And this is fucking wonderful to see. It's been slow as all fucking hell. But yes, all of the officials involved, everyone who was facilitating and knew about this fraud, needs to be held completely culpable for it. Like, let's come on, dude. We don't just want the Somalis who were benefiting from the fraud to be, like, held accountable. We want the officials held accountable as well. You're still waiting for the main DLC to drop for the fraud investigation? Yes, I'm still waiting on that too. We've seen a couple of, like, announcements of we'll look into it in Maine, but I want more than that, you know? I want more than that. I want to see the action. Climate activists weld themselves to a pink car and block Back Bay Boston traffic. Boston police haul out power saws to cut them off the road. If you've ever driven in Boston, you know that Boston traffic is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And so someone pulling a stunt like this in Boston is just like, however bad you think it is where these people have done this elsewhere, it's like magnitudes worse here for interrupting people's days. Like, it will regularly take you more than half an hour to go like a quarter of a block in Boston. Sometimes the traffic gets so bad. You people can't drive. It's not even a can't drive issue. It's a Boston is a very old city with very tiny streets and it's very congested. And half of its streets are like cobblestone that you can't even drive a car down. Climate activists from Extinction Rebellion Boston shut down a busy Back Bay intersection Monday morning by welding one of their members to a metal tube attached to a pink Toyota Corolla in the middle of the road. forcing Boston police and fire crews to haul out power saws to cut the car apart and clear traffic. The blockade went up on the intersection of Dartmouth Street and St. James Avenue near Copley Square, directly outside the Westin Copley Place Hotel, where the Northeast LDC Gas Forum, an annual fossil fuel industry conference, is scheduled to run June 8th to the 10th. The bright pink Corolla, plastered with a banner reading "Gas is bad for mass," and the Extinction Rebellion hourglass logo, sat sideways across the intersection, while officers and firefighters in full bunker gear surrounded it. At least one activist had welded herself to a steel pole bolted to the vehicle. Others chained themselves to large pink barrels holding signs that read "Road closed for natural gas conference." With no other way to separate the woman from the welded car, Boston police and Boston fire crews used reciprocating saws to cut through the metal pole and free her from the vehicle. Other officers worked the barrels, known to organizers as sleeping dragons, locked arm devices that have to be cut open with power tools to extract the protesters inside. All 5 of the welded and chained protesters were eventually arrested, the Boston Police Department later confirmed in an official account of the morning. Boston police issued a public traffic advisory Monday warning commuters and pedestrians to avoid the area, citing the protest's impact on vehicular and pedestrian traffic through the heart of the Back Bay. The first units on scene were Boston police officers from District D4, the South End, responding to 7:44 a.m. radio call about protesters gathering at Dartmouth Street and St. James Avenue. Officers made several attempts to talk to the activists into clearing the road for what BPD called increasingly inconvenienced commuters. A few protesters complied and moved to the sidewalk. The ones welded into the barrels did not, and 2 of them then escalated, walking to the back of the pink sedan and inserting their arms into a second set of welded steel tubes bolted to the trunk. Why are they like this? Why do they think that, like, anyone would take them seriously for this? Like, yeah, they got press, and to some people, any press is good press, but, like, what the fuck, man? A 5th activist allegedly inserted herself between firefighters and the chained demonstrators during the extraction, BPD said, in what the department described as an attempt to obstruct the operation. All 5 were taken into custody. Laura Honeywood, 45, of Roxbury, Anna Pancoast, 39, of Arlington, Julianne Manitz, 41, of Chelsea, Jamie McGonigal, 34, of Gainesville, Florida? The fuck are they doing here? And Merrill Brott, 57, of Alston. All 5 are expected to be arraigned in Boston Municipal Court on charges of unlawful assembly, disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Pancoast faces an additional charge of wrongful interference with the operation of a school bus. That's fucking funny. They're like, throw everything at these people. They made a school bus wait, get them out of here. The group is the local Boston chapter of Extinction Rebellion, the international climate activism network known for high disruption tactics. Road blockades, building occupations, locking on devices designed to be difficult and dangerous for police to remove. The chapter previously disrupted a joint session of the Massachusetts legislature, drawing 9 arrests after occupying the House chamber for 6 hours. In a same morning Instagram story posted to its public account, Extinction Rebellion Boston billed the protest as a blockade of the Northeast LDC Gas Forum and the Westin Hotel in Copley, writing, "Gas is bad for mass, climate criminals aren't welcome here." What would be the ethics concerns if we were to turn climate activists into fuel? The Northeast LDC Gas Forum is a private industry conference attended by executives of local gas distribution companies. Local distribution companies, or LDCs, who set buying and infrastructure plans for natural gas service across the Northeast. The group described its action as a peaceful, non-violent, non-destructive act of civil disobedience. Police, fire, and EMS crews who spent the morning cutting protesters off welded steel and out of locked barrels in the middle of rush hour are not on the record either way. What the fuck? This is a developing story. I'm still convinced that they're funded by the fossil fuel companies. I don't know who they're funded by, but they're retarded all the same. I feel like we already knew this because I'm pretty sure I went over this on stream before, but this is, I guess, a new clip unless somebody's reposting old news again. It says, HUD Secretary Turner confirms Biden gave FHA-backed mortgages to illegals and it's now been revoked. I feel like 70% sure I've already discussed this on stream. Like, I'm pretty sure we already knew this happened.
Illegal aliens that came over the border, straining our housing supply and making the costs go up. And so we work with Secretary Noem at DHS, as you alluded to make sure that only American citizens are living in HUD-funded housing. We also took away FHA-backed mortgages from illegal aliens during the Biden administration. They turned a blind eye. But we're going to keep the law to make sure that these mortgages, which are backed by the taxpayer, go only to the American people. And lastly, we are mandating that every public housing authority give us a comprehensive account who's living in every unit in taxpayer HUD-funded housing.
Wow. Another, actually, there was another impact of that wide open border.
I was like, yep, just another thing that they said doesn't happen has been happening. Illegals were buying homes with tiny down payments, forcing up prices backed by the U.S. government, while you couldn't afford one yourself. I do agree. That does sound like treason. People in France show their support for a White Lives Matter movement. Notice how they aren't burning down cities like BLM.
Mathis, 15 ans, tué à coups de couteau lors d'une altercation. Elias, 14 ans, tué à la machette lors d'un racket. Axel Dorier, 22 ans, renversé et traîné sur environ 800 mètres. Mélanie Lemay, 25 ans, fauchée lors d'un refus d'obtempérer. Kylian Binard.
That's a really pretty dress. I like that dress. Not enough cleavage for my taste, but it's really pretty.
Irina Zarutska, 23 ans, poignardée à mort dans le métro. Violée.
That's kind of wild. And this person said, white people do this thing where they show very little anger right up to the breaking point, and then they break and begin to absolutely freak the fuck out. World War II, the Crusades, etc. Leading up to a fist fight, white men get quieter. Opposite of other races who get louder as they get closer to violence. You're beginning to see white people freak out. You just don't know it yet. Now just hold your horses right there, mister. A peaceful protest, and black people want to say they are the civilized one. I'm sure somebody would be like, what about all the fires in Ireland? What fires in Ireland, mate? I don't see any fires. That's a peaceful protest, buddy. Did I see HelloFresh's Pride Month ad? Yes, I did! I couldn't figure out how to articulate myself well enough without just screeching like I did there. Because it's like, holy shit, I'm so glad. I've always fucking hated HelloFresh. These fucking scumbags. They fucking would not leave me alone. I was getting unironically harassed by HelloFresh. They would send so many fucking emails trying to get me as a sponsor. And I was like, please, I don't like you. I think your food is horrible and you use slave labor in the UK. So, like, there was even like a mystery box of HelloFresh that was outside of my apartment.
What the hell is
and I was like, where the fuck did this come from? Who ordered the fucking HelloFresh? And like, it wasn't like outside my door. It was like in the middle of like the landing. So like, it could have been anyone's HelloFresh. And it just stayed there for like a week or some shit. I can't remember if it was like 3 days or a week. Regardless, it was there for like days. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? So like, anytime HelloFresh was mentioned back in the day, I had like a crash out. Cause it's like, fuck, just leave me alone, dude, please. What do I have to do? What do I have to do to get you to leave me alone? HelloFresh. They put out an ad, and this is an actual ad on their Instagram. Of course, they rainbowified the lemon. And it says, HelloFresh official statement. We know eating isn't always a top priority this month. We respect that. But for those of you who are prepping, we have an extensive lineup of high fiber recipes available. Happy Pride. Yes, because when I go to eat fresh food, I want to be thinking about the inside of my asshole and how clean it is to take dick. The fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god, you saw another food delivery service saying the same thing? It's so fucking... This is the bottom-friendly promo all over again. I was gonna say, wasn't there some other, like, delivery service that did a bottom-friendly thing? I was like, what the fuck, man? And apparently, like, the Pentagon is also saying that, like, Israel is spying on our politicians, and it's like, well, yeah. Why are you surprised by that? not my sand, not my problem, buddy. Like, this clip came across my feed, and I thought this was really funny. I haven't watched it. I just read the text saying, did the Nazis politely ask the Jews to leave? Did they say, please go? Step out so we can move in? Of course not. And I was like, what?
What, did the Nazis ask the Jews to leave, kindly leave, go out? Did others, you want me to name all the genocidal leaders of history? Just go one by one. Did anyone do this? Did they say, get out so we can come in? Of course not.
Why is he wearing a QR code? But I thought that was strange because as everyone knows, this is my favorite clip of Netanyahu.
And this attack and other attacks on the Jewish community in 1920, 1921, 1929 were instigated by a call of the Mufti of Jerusalem, Haj Amin al-Husseini, who was later sought for war crimes in the Nuremberg trials because he had a central role in fomenting the final solution. He flew to Berlin. Hitler didn't want to exterminate the Jews at the time. He wanted to expel the Jews.
Which one is it, baby?
Went to Hitler and said,
did he want to expel the Jews or did he never ask them to leave? Which one is it, baby?
if you expel them, they'll all come here. So what should I do with them? He asked. You said, burn them.
And Hitler said, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just that easy.
He was sought in during the Nuremberg trials for prosecution. He escaped it. Later died in cancer after the war, died of cancer in Cairo. But this is what Haj Amin al-Husseini said. He said, the Jews seek to destroy the Temple Mount. My grandfather in 1920 seeks to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So this lie is about 100 years old.
I just want to, like, this was when? 10 years ago? 10 years ago? Where does he start?
Fomenting the final solution. He flew to Berlin. Hitler didn't want to exterminate the Jews at the time. He wanted to expel the Jews. And Haj Amin al-Husseini went to Hitler and said, if you expel them, they'll all come here. What, did the Nazis ask the Jews to leave, kindly leave, go out? Did others, you want me to name all the genocidal...
Which one is it? Make up your fucking mind! What the fuck? Police tried to smear Henry Nowak as aggressor just 3 days after his murder. I hated... There was some fucking article that, like, used a picture of him in the elevator trying to make it look like he was the fucking aggressor. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck, dude? Hampshire police tried to portray Henry Nowak as the aggressor against Vikram Digwa just 3 days after he was murdered. In a bombshell revelation last night, it emerged the force tried to put out a statement implying Mr. Nowak had assaulted both Digwa and his brother. An initial police statement, according to the Sunday Times, read it was reported 2 men had been assaulted by an unknown man. In fact, the vile murderer had stabbed him with an 8-inch Sikh ceremonial knife before falsely claiming the student had racially abused him. Police had sufficient evidence by that time to know that Digwa was a liar. The force would later change their wording after outrage from the Nowak family. The Nowak family is, like, the father was really browbeaten in his speech. Not quite as cucked as Austin Metcalf's father, but I don't know if it's the aunt or like the grandma, but one of the people in his family, and I have a tab somewhere on it, they were just like, yeah, I'm not playing this fucking game. And I was like, based woman. The Nowaks had become concerned a false narrative was being pushed about their son. Police are said to have told them their next update, which would include a family tribute, would again infer that young Henry was the initial aggressor. Officers dropped that section of the statement, which only referred to an altercation when published. And this is exactly why, when, like, the CRS or whatever the fuck you guys call it in Britain, the nudge unit or whatever, when they come to you and they're just like, here's how you're gonna spin the story of your son being murdered by someone who never should have been here so that racism doesn't increase toward people who shouldn't be here. You should just be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that. That makes so much sense. Well, we want peace. And then when you actually go to give your speech, you bring out your real speech and not the shitty fucking one that they're trying to force you into, because they're going to continuously try and make it out that your son wasn't as much of a victim as he actually was. The Sunday Times also revealed that Hampshire police risked collapsing Digwa's trial by trying to issue a statement over so-called disinformation, while proceedings were already underway. The statement is understood to have contained information about how a court case works, reminded people that nothing could be published that could prejudice legal proceedings, and said that police would answer questions once the trial was complete. The force was then scolded by the Crown Prosecution Services that any intervention could jeopardize the case. It is understood that police had concerns about online commentary and potential public disorder. The CPS told the force it could risk impacting the integrity of the case against Vikram Digwa. It also came to light that night that the force, already under fire for its diversity schemes, failed to take a knife from Digwa after he was arrested and did not handcuff him when he was arrested. They handcuffed the dying white boy, but not the actual aggressor who murdered him. Even after the murderer was taken to the police station, his Sikh dagger was hanging around his neck. The blade was only removed after a police search before he was moved into a cell, the Sun revealed. A source said either the arresting officers knew he had the kirpan on and let him keep it on after his arrest, or they missed it and it was only picked up when he was searched at the police station. Either way, it is a massive blunder and could have been dangerous. CPS spokesperson has now said CPS highlighted to the police that protecting the integrity of the ongoing trial was essential, and one of the risks of referring to any aspect of the evidence before it had been heard by the court and the case had been summed up by the judge to the jury. However, it was made clear that whether a statement was released was ultimately a police operational decision. A spokeswoman for Hampshire Police said, following the opening of the trial and the media reporting that followed, a significant amount of mis- and disinformation was circulating online. I am struggling to, comprehend just how evil these police officers are, because this isn't incompetence. This is absolutely not incompetence. This included requests for information to be shared that had not been fully examined as part of the murder trial. The intention of the statement was to remind the public that there were ongoing legal proceedings and that the law is clear that nothing could be published which could prejudice the trial. The decision not to publish was taken following advice from the CPS. This guy had said, woke policing killed Henry Nowak. Just look at the 6 anti-racism commitments. 1, take a stand against racism in all forms. 2, proactively identify and tackle racial inequalities. 3, reform policies that over-police or under-protect certain groups. 4, partner with others to fix societal racial gaps. 5, deliver equality of outcomes by treating people differently based on race, needs, and experiences. 6, show transparency, leadership, and measure anti-racism impact. Anti-racism, once again, is just code word for racism against the correct people, aka white people. Anti-racism is not a real concept. Anti-racism is not being against racism. It is commie gobbledygook, do not believe in it. Translation, do not treat everyone equally under the law, explicitly reject colorblind policing, respond based on skin color and lived experience to engineer equal results. The police at the scene did exactly that, and the outcome was an absolute tragedy. And that's true. Nothing should be, these should not be anything that anyone is dealing with. It's fucking retarded that we've gotten here. It's a shame Sega gives into this aggressive and toxic fandom it seems to be represented by. A woman they accepted recently was removed after men threatened her, wanting her to be murdered. Others cried, kicked, and screamed. They justified their crusade because a woman held benign opinions that most people have. She loved Sonic, but she was harassed by the people Sega would rather listen to, begging the question why this company hates women, and why on earth they would listen to such a hateful, deranged people. I would never feel safe at Sega or working with Sega. And Savvy posted a screenshot here of a usual suspect saying, die, 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 I need this bitch gone, get your bigot ass out of here. During Pride Month too, OMFG, bruh, Sega lock in. Totally not unhinged individual, by the way. And it's in response, I guess Sega had a North American creator program in the Creator Zone. And I think this is especially interesting because Sega's official Twitch account has been in my chat multiple times. When I was playing Judgment, the first one, and I think I was playing Judgment in 2021 or so. I think it was 2021. The Sega account was in my chat during multiple streams of mine. The first instance of Sega being here. And we even made, feet pic jokes at them because of my feet emote. And so it's really weird that only like 4 or 5 years later, there are people working at Sega that would cut ties with someone because a cancel mob just fucking whined and wanted her dead. So it's like, how far has Sega fallen in just a couple of years? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of fucking crazy. This lady's post here, and I'm gonna actually criticize her. She said, because of people being so hateful, I've been removed. Like I mentioned in my streams, I accept anyone, even if we have different opinions, but I guess people only like to mention how much of a bad person I am. Thanks, guys. I don't know who I am, and I just want to show hatred. And she replied again saying, please don't bring this up anymore. I seriously don't want any more drama in my space, and I don't want people to know me for drama. That's not who I am. I love Sonic, and I enjoy making content about him. And I originally was like, if she doesn't want to help herself, then I shouldn't talk about this either. I shouldn't defend her. Because if she's not willing to stand up for herself, why should I? You know? But then I was like, maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe she's just scared because the amount of harassment you get when you stand up for yourself is fucking absurd. It is insane. And especially in the VTuber sphere, if you stand up for yourself, people will look at you like you are the problem. Defending yourself is seen as an aggressive action. You are the one starting drama because you dared to defend yourself. You should just shut the fuck up and take it, is what the opinion is. And it's fucked up how many VTubers have Stockholm syndromed themselves into, I can't speak up lest I might lose industry opportunities. If speaking up and defending yourself causes you to lose industry opportunities, guess fucking what? Those industry opportunities don't actually exist for you in the first place if you have to fucking pretend to get them. You know what you should do? You should speak out so that the industry can fucking change instead of forcing more people to go down this erroneous route. Defending yourself from people attacking you and threatening to kill you isn't drama, it's being normal. And especially when you've been removed from something that you were excited for and you've been treated poorly by people who literally want you to fucking die. Yeah, no, that's not drama. That's not drama, and you should want people to bring it up. Because there's not going to be any consequences if it's not brought up. And if you don't bring it up and it gets swept under the rug, there's going to be more casualties. It's not going to stop at you. More people will have this happen to them because the mob sees that they have power. They see that they can yell at a company, the company will bend the knee and do their bidding, and then you will slink back into the shadows and shut the fuck up about it. There's no consequences. This poor girl, she's been getting it bad for months now. This is the first I've ever seen of her. And it's like, I'm coming off harsh, but it's just like, I guess my thing is like tough love. It's like, she's been done wrong, but she's still repeating the shit here that's not only gonna get her continued to be treated poorly, but it's going to cause more people after her to be continued to treat poorly. Because she doesn't want the drama. And it's like, well, sorry, you didn't start the drama, you were wronged. And it's like, you can either say, that's fine that I was wronged. I don't want to care that I was wronged. I don't want to care that people after me will continue to be wronged. You can say that, but then, like, I wouldn't expect people to defend you if that is what you would believe, you know? It's like asking her to stop being from New Jersey. Yeah, like, this person here said she's lying, by the way. So, like, I guess these are the things that people were upset about.
The whole LGBTQ stuff. I never liked it. I'm not homophobic. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're lesbian. However, it is a problem when you're talking about transgender stuff. I feel like you're hurting your body. I think you shouldn't be supporting anybody that says that they're a different gender than what they really are. You're hurting your friends. You're actually this gender. No, these people are hurting, bro. You should not encourage that. If someone tells me, oh, call me a he or a she, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna call you by your name. Oh, I'm all of a sudden this gender. That's just not how that works. Anyone is male and female, and you're born with that biological thing. You are male and female, and I feel like I shouldn't be held back by saying what I feel.
She's not wrong. I mean, she sounds like somebody who, like, has an opinion and hasn't, like, I guess, looked into too much. I don't know, but it's like she's not entirely wrong. And, like, even other actual dysphoric transgender people like Buck Angel say the same thing. They acknowledge biological reality. Buck Angel doesn't say that he's a male. He knows he's a biological female. Where I digress is, like, I will use pronouns for someone like Buck Angel. because they've actually been through this experience, and I don't see any reason not to. I know they're not a man. They know they're not a man. I don't care. I feel like I can call Buck a he. That's fine to me. And Buck has faced so many death threats and issues from the greater trans activist community because Buck has come out in defense of, hey, this shouldn't be pushed on children. Hey, there's a lot of dangers of doing hormone therapy. There's a lot of dangers of the surgeries. You shouldn't be talking about this. Like, there's no repercussions and there's no downsides. People like Buck earned it. Yeah, exactly. You agree with that, but also understand why younger people are now saying fuck it. I've said that so many times. I completely understand. I completely understand why there are people out there who are like, fuck it. I don't care. I don't want to make a distinction. None of that matters to me anymore. It's gone too far. Throw it all in the garbage. I completely understand the people that have that perspective. Just personally, for me, I feel like it's very important to continue to make the distinction between actual dysphoric people who have like that diagnosed mental health condition and people who are activists, autogynephiliacs, ideologues, the ones that you usually see all over social media, giving a bad name to everyone in general. And it's because of those people that other people have the idea of, well, I'm just fed up, throw it all out. They don't care to make the distinction anymore because of all of the damage the activists have been doing. And I think Leaflet said it as well yesterday, where she's like, anti-LGBT people couldn't ask for a better, like, figure than someone like Nyara to be talking about trans issues, because Nyara makes it look incredibly unpalatable. They make it look crazy. They make it look unhinged. And so anyone like actually anti these things will just point at them and be like, they're all like this. And then there were a couple of other videos of like apparently what this chick said that people complained about. Hold up.
That's Hey, Meteor Morning, what are you doing back there, buddy? Oh god. Meteor Morning, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing back there? Oh god. How do I hit him? Oh god. How do I hit him though?
I would also be confused.
Meteor Morning the boss, yep.
You can see down here there's a guy that says, I'm black, I can't be the monkey.
You're black? I can't be the monkey? Oh, well that makes it even better, bro. That makes it even better. Let's go.
And people are upset that she responded to a chatter saying that. I was like, what? I'm like, yeah, it looks like this is the same guy. He said in her chat, like, I'm black, I can't be the monkey. And I guess now he's mad. Oh, that's why she got a little too giddy calling me a monkey. Gave her the benefit of the doubt because she didn't know what I was at first. But looking back, the doubling down and that makes it even better is crazy. She's just joking around with her chat. And he's saying this in response to this clip where it's, can you address this racist take about the N-word too?
Can y'all stop with that, dude? Again, I have a hot take with that. I feel like it's stupid that a certain race can't say a certain word.
True!
Like, that's dumb to me. I feel like that alone is already racist as it is, but you know.
True!
That's my take on it. That's my take on it. But again, I'm just being real, okay? I'm not gonna say it though. I don't like to curse. It's a curse word.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, I don't care if other people say it, but I don't want to say it. So she's not even somebody who says the word herself, man. And they're still getting mad at her?
Yes. So I don't like to curse. But it's dumb, though. I find that to be dumb.
She has the most normal common sense takes, and she's the bad one. This is why I said last year when this was going on, I was like, this is not going to stop at me. They are going after me because they cannot harm someone like Asmongold. And after they couldn't take me down, the lack of defense around me is going to mean that smaller creators are also going to face this thing. She is now getting attacked for even more bland takes that larger creators than both of us have already said.
I have friends who don't even mind, but I don't say it anyways. Slurring, technically cursing, yeah. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Are you kidding?
And I wanted to bring this up because people want to pretend to be outraged that she doesn't say the N-word, but she doesn't care if other people do. Asmongold on streamers' use of the N-word. Yeah, it's completely fine to say off camera. A lot of streamers that you know say it off camera. It's not a big deal, streamers. All of these people say slurs off camera constantly. And he's fucking right!
I'll never forget this dude got mad over a video game and said the N-word. And then he said sorry, he forgot he was on camera, as if it's fine to say off camera. Yeah, it is completely fine to say off camera. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
we have this weird culture of having to pretend to be outraged at a word, thus giving the word more power. It's just like people were getting upset at Riro Ron because she said the word in like a rap song. And it's like, she's saying it in the context of singing along to a song sung by a black man. What are we fucking doing here?
By the way, a lot of people say it off camera.
They do?
A lot of streamers that you know say it off camera.
I have been floored by the people who are willing to say the N-word that I never thought would ever come out of their mouths versus the people I expected to be slinging it regularly who clutch pearls and go, oh my God, what are you doing?
They do. You might not want to hear that. Might not want to, oh, you don't say that. Yes, they do. And this whole thing of like, this is the performative hyper reality that so many of these people invent, where it's like, oh my God, this guy said a bad word. Like, by the way, he's Swedish. He doesn't have anything to do. Like, I'm a black American. This is a black guy in America. He doesn't have anything to do with, he didn't do that to you, okay? Like, he was in fucking Sweden. He has nothing to do with this. It's not the same thing. So it's like you're getting mad over a struggle that you didn't go through at a person who never even has a lineage that put you through it. Like, it's just nothing. You're getting mad over that. Protective victim mentality. Yeah, it's not a big deal. You say something off camera. Oh my God. Are we really gonna perform? Are we gonna perform the silliness that this is some kind of a big deal? Yeah, people like streamers, all these people say slurs off camera constantly. They do. They say it constantly off camera. The only reason why they don't say it on camera is because they don't want to get in trouble. That's the only reason why. It's an engineered hyper reality that these retards have bought into, and they believe in it.
He's just completely right. And this guy's now angry. Like, that's why she got too giddy. Her being like, I don't care if other people say the N-word doesn't make her racist. She doesn't say it herself. What are we doing? And she needs to spend a day with Kirsche or something like that, let her skin grow. It's like, it's sad. It's sad, but like, you have to defend yourself from these things or it's going to keep happening. She's literally just playing along with a chatter, right? You believe that everything happens for a reason? Sakura Miko, probably. It's like, I loved that argument that was going on a while back where it was just like, oh, who was the original face of EN VTubing? And it's like, anyone not saying something like Coco, Kiryu Coco, or motherfucking Sakura Miko was a big reason VTubing like blew up in the West. Anyone not saying those two things is, I don't even know what's wrong with you, man.
Good morning, motherfuckers. Dodo. Good morning, motherfucker. 言葉の意味はもう一回言ってください。
Motherfucker?
Oh no! She said it! Corrupted! Instant corrupt!
Pikami. Kiryu Kai forever. Sounds like a response to something even. Pikami was fucking huge as well. Hachima. I don't know if I would say Hachima's like the face, but yeah, I saw a lot of her clips before even I like got super large.
Sorry, Haru, but Redkun is my new favorite idol. Does he have a MySpace?
Who's worse, the I just want to grill people or see both sides equally bad people? I'm starting to see them as kind of the same thing, because the I just want to grill people typically also do the I just want to grill, I don't want to get involved, everything should be apolitical, but I would never ever 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 criticize a leftist position. And it's getting kind of crazy. As you understand it, Coco played a big role in HoloLive, deciding to open an EN branch in the first place. Kaeson's a legend. Kaeson's absolutely a fucking legend. I hope this lady can get out of her, like, self-defeating mindset. I know it's hard. I know it fucking sucks. Believe me, it does not feel good to have people harassing you. It does not feel good to have opportunities taken away from you because people are seething that you are having any amount of success. It fucking sucks. I understand not wanting to deal with it. But if you don't, like, why would anyone else defend you even? You know, if you're not going to stand up for yourself, it kind of is like a self-defeating thing. Like, if you're just gonna sit there and take their like ways to harm you and not defend yourself, what are you gonna do?